Yo, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It is Monday night. You know what that means. Right here on the Bloodline Entertainment Network. That means Roto Slappers is live. And I'm going to make this short and sweet because we got a big one. We got a lot of special guests for you. A lot of friends here. We're going to have a whole lot of fun tonight. But yeah, we're going to do a mock draft. You know who's next to me. This way. That's Tim. TK, how you feeling tonight, buddy?
Yo, Streets, what's good? Like you said, I want to make this short and sweet too, man. I usually run this shit down, but I want to be really, really quick with it. I want to get our guests in. I want to get this mock draft rolling. So, yo, before we get going, what do I always say? Please hit that like button on this video and please subscribe to the Bloodline Entertainment Network. Sports, wrestling, entertainment. Everything we got sitting right here, and you don't just gotta watch us. I know you want to watch Streets. He's pretty. He's the face that runs the fantasy space. But you ain't gotta watch me if you don't want to watch me. You gotta listen to me. Put Bloodline Entertainment Network into your Google search bar, and you can find us on audio, Spreaker, Spotify, Apple Music, iHeart, anywhere you get your audio, you can find us. And when you do that, best of all, what's gonna pop up? BloodlineNetwork.com. Your home for all of our sports. All of entertainment, all of our wrestling, and everything my man right here does, all of his articles, fantasy football, everything he does. What you just put out, your wide receiver sleepers, you got our wide receiver bust, running back sleepers, top 200 rankings. This man is putting in the work. Get over to bloodlinenetwork.com, and when you do that, it's just not our articles. You can find all of our videos, you can find all of our audio, and our merch, bloodlinenetwork.com/merch. And tired of bored, uninspiring merch? Well, you need to go to bloodlinenetwork.com/merch.
We got merch for everyone. Men, women, kids, in the home.
We got tanks, V-necks, t-shirts, coffee cups.
And we can't forget about beach towels. That's right. Get your ass off that hot ass sand and get your Bloodline Entertainment Network beach towels.
bloodlinenetwork.com/merch.
For your pleasure.
That's right. I know it's hot. Or
You
some
did
of
that
our
button
guests
perfectly. Like it mixed right in.
Thank you. I know it's hot where some of our guests are. So get you a Bloodline beach towel and get your ass off that hot ass sand. And like Street said, we got plenty of guests. So I'm going to let him get into it. Introduce them. This is the Roto Slappers and Friends Live Mock. Let's go, Streets.
All right, I'm going to bring everybody in after this quick video. Basically, we're doing your standard, I say Kinko's. I always use Kinko's. So your Kinko's Office League. PPR 1 quarterback league. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to get started in 2 minutes. We're going to introduce everybody, but I got an intro for everybody that we're bringing in. Bradley is not here, but he is in the intro and he's with us in our hearts. So I kept him in there just in case, but let's do this. Let's get this mock started. I had to play it. I had to give everybody a little intro
baby.
so you can run through a wall. So
Fucking
everybody
go. I'm fucking jacked. Let's
happy.
go.
And I'm gonna start bringing everybody in back to the stream. Welcome, gentlemen.
That was fantastic.
That was awesome.
Bravo,
Seriously.
sir. Takes me back to my childhood watching the old Bulls.
I know. I'm not even a Bulls fan. So
I'm not either.
that's
Hey,
but
respect
I figured
the history. Respect the history.
that intro just gets everybody going. Everybody in the mood. Now everybody's blood's pumping. Now I can.
Yeah, I think the only thing the intro missed was one of these. That's the only thing it missed.
I will cheers to you, my brother.
You got to get Ray Clay to
Thank
announce
you all for joining us.
Oh, wow.
There you go, Zach. There you go.
Question: why is it a bunch of Bulls running the streets of Chicago? It should be a bunch of Bucks the way we've owned that team over the past few years.
Oh,
Amen.
Early.
Fear the deep, baby.
all right. So,
Oh, that got me fucking fired up, Streets. That was fantastic. Great job putting that shit together, brother.
Hell yeah.
all right. So, with that being said, if everybody's ready, we're gonna get this bad boy started now. And
There we go. Streets, you could probably kick this down to 60 seconds now, right? Or are you still going to leave it at 2 minutes?
I'm gonna leave it at just to get this the first go. So everybody, when they make their pick, they can introduce themselves, like do a fun little. And I'll mute this too. And then we'll kick it over to my man Gator.
What's up,
What's going
fellas?
on, man?
I
How you doing?
I don't have an intro that's even going to compete with that one you just put out there, Street.
You were part of it. Your name was in it, so that is
know.
your intro.
Yeah, but it was just. I almost missed it. I looked back to grab my beer, and it was like, oh shoot, there goes my name, and then Maddie's name, and I was like, oh, I see what he did there. I see what you did there. That was phenomenal. Great job there.
We are the starting lineup.
Yes,
Even though we're drafting against each other, we're kind of all on the same team tonight.
right.
That's kind of how I look at it.
Well, I am Gator. I am with Fantasy and Frames, doing a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, so the graphics and stuff like that is what you can see. I met Tim and Streets through the Scott Fishbowl mock stuff like that. Become pretty good buds over there on the Sleeper app. So I've enjoyed hanging with you guys. So I appreciate y'all inviting me on tonight.
No, thank you for coming. Appreciate it. You guys, Fantasy and Frames does awesome stuff over there. And you yourself, how many mocks in SFB did you end up doing?
I don't want to. It's over 200. It was over 200.
It's over 200.
It was ridiculous. Yeah, it was ridiculous amount of mocks.
It was an incredible amount of fun, man. And again, thank you so much for putting all that together. I had a blast. I probably did 45, 50 myself. It was every day. I'm bored at work. I'm going to hop on a mock. I know there's going to be a mock at least once an hour. It was great. You guys just did a great job. And what you guys do in Fantasy and Frames is fantastic, man. Thank you so much for coming on tonight with us.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Caused me to mess up my pick right there, but that's all right.
Oh, so you didn't want to go
CMC, huh? You didn't like CMC, huh?
No, I didn't want to go CMC. Not with the way that the lineup is set up, but I'll be fine with it taking the RB1 on the first 6 weeks of the year.
Maddie, welcome, my man.
Pow! Yeah, baby. Back in the saddle. Glad to be here, guys. Love slapping it around with you, Roto fans. Dude, pumped to be here. Pumped for this Monday night mock. And, 3 wide receivers set. I think you got to kind of hammer home these top tier wide receivers in the first. So just with what we've seen, with the breaking news today and everything else at running back, I love the CMC pick too as well, though, because that was right there with it. But Chase just seems like a lock. Hopefully Burrow's here for a speedy recovery. But pumped to be here, guys. Pow, pow.
Welcome.
Yes.
I love it. It doesn't even, if it's 2 wide receiver, I've seen Chase go 2. So I don't even think that even makes a difference for him at this. I don't. Yeah. I can't hate on that pick. I have him 4. As crazy as it sounds still, though. I still would take McCaffrey and Eckler and then Chase. But I can't. I love Jamar Chase, so I'm not hating on it. Running back is wild time. We got Rhino's on the clock who's not here, so we could talk now for a little while here.
Oh, my bad, Streets. I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just going to say,
good.
Maddie, I'm pumped that you came on. Thank you. And, check out Maddie's shorts. He put out 3 shorts on the Bloodline Entertainment Network on YouTube right here. Just doing fucking great work. Marvin Mims, Jonathan Taylor, and Streets on your boy, Brock Purdy. So go ahead and check those out.
That's Maddie's boy, Brock Purdy. Maddie sold me on Brock Purdy.
It's hard not to, man. I mean, you've seen that system with Shanahan. You've seen Lance kind of shit the bed. So,
Rhino.
Already
Autumn. Tyreek Hill, huh?
It's all right. I know Rhino's around, so
he might have come in there and set a cue.
He might have, not realizing it's 2 minutes per pick, but.
Hell yeah. Who's on the clock? Zugi?
Zugi.
Really quick then. Maddie, I'm so sorry that your face is going to be covered for a quick minute. I'm going to just run the chat down. Really appreciate everyone for being here. The Wonder Woman of the chat, Courtney, what is good? I'll raise my 1 to you. Great. And the Bin Buster Director's Cut tomorrow night. Check it out. Appreciate you being here, brother. Yes, absolutely. Get on the Discord. Check out the Discord. I'm talking sports, wrestling on there all the time. Appreciate that. Putting that up. What else we got? Dom, what is good, brother? Top Rope Wrestling Talk every Friday night. Check it out. Bakley, what's up, man? You're in this draft, right? Ginger Academy. Appreciate you being in the draft. Thanks for being in the chat. Let's see who else we got. Kayla, what is good, my bloodline sister? How are you feeling tonight? Jordan, hope you're having a good evening, my dude. Faction Cast, KPG, appreciate you being here, brother. We got Doc in the house. What's up, Doc? Appreciate you being here, man. Thank you for showing up. We got Bucks and 6. Oh man, we got another Bucks fan in the house. Okay, Bucks are nasty, man. Bucks are nasty. There we go. Dylan, what's good, man? What's good? You had a great show. Go back and check it out. Dome Field Advantage covering just the Saints right before we were on. Go back and check that show out. Appreciate you guys all being here.
How do I turn? That's how. Okay.
Damn, Streets, where your boys at? Where the fuck Rhino and Zugi at?
He just messaged saying he's at the gym. Hold on. He's pulling his phone out. So he's here. Idiots.
Fucking two.
You wanted to mock tonight too.
So that's clock time. You still can't get him to fucking.
I know. That's the lovely part. It's okay. I just fixed my noise issue. That's fine. I wanted the first round to take a little while, so everybody has time to talk and everybody has time to introduce themselves, and then we can, once we get cooking here. See, that's how we do things here. Damn it.
3 out of the first 4 picks wide receiver. Do you think it'll actually go like that? Where do you think Tyreek Hill actually goes if he doesn't get autoed?
So here's the thing with CooperKupp has the injury now. That's your D&D, you've said, right?
Yeah, fuck that. I'm not taking him. I was all about it, but nah, man. I'm good.
So you won't so if you D&D him, some others are probably going to be a little bit nervous to take him now with that hamstring injury. Tyreek Hill has to bump up, right? Where does he move up in the first round now?
Oh, hell yeah. There we go, Streets. You were trying to figure out who was in at 11. There we go. Appreciate you being here, brother. Perfect.
Where would you? Is Tyreek Hill even that crazy at 1-4 with the way running back is kind of just erupted?
I don't think it's crazy. I don't love it, but I mean, I think it's not a terrible pick at that either. I mean, yeah, it's tough right now to feel great about so many of the running backs just based off of, so many holdouts and injuries and, you name it. Every running back that's actually good in fantasy is pissed off right now, it seems like. It's like they're just realizing that they only have a 6-year lifespan and the NFL doesn't want to pay for that. Who knew?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. They got no leverage. It sucks to say that. I hate saying that about running backs. All right, hold on though. I'm giving him 2 seconds here. He's hopping on now. And then Rhino hopped in too. So here we go.
I don't mind Tyreek Hill pick there. I mean, he's probably one of the top 4 or 5 wide receivers. But you look back at history with him, And there's only been that 1 year where he didn't play 15 or more games. So there is no injury risk that you can look at like we're looking at with CooperKupp right now. So I don't mind the Tyreek Hill pick right there, going off, at the third wide receiver. I guess that's going to absolutely just be a personal call on you on whether you want Kupp or you want AJ Brown or Amon-Ra or whoever else that could be in that tier. But he's definitely in the top end of that second tier if you put Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase in a tier alone. Feels definitely in that second.
I asked Team 2-3 who he wanted at 4, so maybe if you want to swap. Oh, he's very happy with it. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's a for an auto pick. I don't even know if it's really that auto-y anymore because the Kupp injury in the running back landscape, we're gonna see plenty of Tyreek Hill, I think.
Tyreek was falling during Scott Fishbowl season with the legal issues. I mean, now that that's kind of been resolved, it makes a lot of sense him rising back up again.
Agreed 100% with that.
You know if Zugi's able to pick while it's paused?
I don't know.
Nope.
Travis.
There we go.
To be honest, that's another one. I know Timbo is going to be upset on that one.
Was that an auto?
I don't know. I'm asking him. But I know Timbo's been taking Kelsey a lot. I know Gator has a lot of fun with Kelsey too in that first round. I remember that one draft, buddy.
No, I fake it. That was a Scott Fishbowl draft.
I know. I'm just kidding. That was a tough. To be honest, I picked 1-3 in that.
I did that because I picked from the 4 spots in Scott Fishbowl. That night, Nate Markham, who was on with us as well, he's also picking the 4 spot. He actually got there before I did. He wanted I ended up over, so I took the 1. And going off of that, I took Travis Kelce because of the scoring settings.
Yeah.
In my actual Fishbowl draft, I had a choice of at 4 taking Travis Kelce, and I did not. I ended up taking a quarterback, which is the exact reason I took the 4 spot to begin with. So I took a quarterback, Lamar Jackson, at 4, Travis Kelce, and then fell to 7.
Ooh, and he went to 7 in
that draft. Yep.
He fell to 4 in ours. I was 3, and I took quarterback also. I just couldn't. Man, I tried mocking with him too at 3, and I just never liked it.
Yeah, I'm going Eckler here.
I still have Eckler as my 1. So,
you think he's going to have another 100-catch season?
I think he'll come close.
Yeah, I'm ready to find out. I mean, at 107, I think that's good value as well.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Usually, I like to go the zero running back approach, but there's certain guys that I kind of just want to trust their production, and Eckler's one of them. Where there's not the same holdout concerns. Obviously he's not happy either, but he's continued to play, and I mean, he's relatively durable comparatively to some of the other top running backs. I mean, he's had his own issues, but still, I feel like at 107, definitely a good value.
Yeah, I think he'll get his work in still in the receiving game. And I know a lot are worried about the red zone touches. But with Kellen Moore, Zeke, I think, led the league in red zone touches like 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, and then 2 years ago, he was 3rd in red zone touches per game. So I think Zeke's just aging in inefficiency led more to a split, like a red zone backfield there. So I think as long as Eckler's still good, he's still going to see heavy red zone usage.
Even last year, Zeke had 10 touchdowns inside the 5 or something?
Correct. And that's splitting with Powell more. He still saw that. So you're spot on that. So I think red zone usage still going to be there for Eckler.
I like Eckler more as a high floor guy. For me, I don't know if he can be RB1 again. I'm not necessarily expecting all the red zone touches per se, but it's more so about what's his floor. And he is so consistent at producing towards the top, so I feel confident in it there.
Yep, I agree. Sean, Bijan,
Yes, sir.
my man. Go
ahead.
Shit, I got him 1-5 overall, so I love the pick for you there.
Yeah, I mean, that offense they showed last year with Algier, they're going to run the ball, and Arthur Smith doesn't like to throw. He's allergic to throwing, I guess. I don't know what the deal was with Pitts last year. I mean,
Pitts in London don't like
right.
throwing the football.
You have 2 elite targets, and he's like, nah, let's just pound it with Algier. Was it Tyler Huntley and Damian Williams and whoever else they had? I think Bijan is the real deal. He's going to help in the passing game.
Yeah, 300 touchback. Look, with the risk running backs become out there, and a lot of the guys, the bell cows, McCaffrey, Eckler, the first 2 running backs are 27, 28 years old that we're taking 2 here. And I get it. I'm still going to take them there. But Bijan at this point seems one of the more safer options for age, 300 touches, the whole 9 yards. And then Tim with a little Barkley 110.
Steele, I'm in fucking love with this pick, dude. I'm fucking in love with this pick. And I'm in love with this pick too, dude. All day. I'll always be running back heavy. And if you give me Saquon and Derrick Henry starting at 110, I'm fucking all in all day on it. But no one wants to listen to me. I want to hear from
when Tim swears. When Tim swears, he's very excited. By the way.
I'm very fucking excited right now. Yeah,
that's how.
Yeah, I'm pumped. But I want to hear more from Gator Raiders, and I want to hear a little bit more from Sean. Introduce yourselves, boys. Gator Raiders, talk about your swing, and let's go back to Sean.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, CeeDee Lamb is probably the 112. I prefer him to AJ Brown. I see some regression there this year. I like the Cowboys this year. I think they want to run the ball more, supposedly, but who the hell's that going to be? I mean, Rico Dowdle. So, I mean,
I've heard Mike McCarthy say that before.
Yeah, right. And I'm a Packer fan, man. So it's brutal to know that guy's still the coach in the league. But I digress. And then after that, I thought about Amon-Ra, but Chubb's been getting the third down work in camp. Jerome Ford's kind of dealing with some nagging injuries. So, I mean, Chubb could be a bell cow, and that's one guy who's not having any contract issues. One thing I wanted to add too, JT, I saw just went. That was the guy we were talking about, the 1.1 last year, and he's now going middle of second round if you're taking a risk. So, yikes, how the game changes, But thanks for having me on, y'all.
No, thank you for coming on. Appreciate you. Love that too.
And really quick, you talk about running back. How I'm excited about having Barkley.
Taylor's ridiculous to me.
Fucking Christ.
But that's what we're entering that realm as this happens with Taylor, Jacobs. It's crazy. Some teams are going to start with. There's going to be plenty. I think Heath Cummings has tweeted that from CBS earlier, and he was spot on when he said there's going to be plenty of drafts where somebody starts Jefferson, Taylor, Jacobs, or something in their drafts this year because of the holdouts and the weird going on, and that's just silly. Bananas.
I mean, I'm a big JT guy. I'm going to trust that he's going to be back at some point. I try not to.
He's supposed to be back this week.
Yeah, I try not to get too caught up in all the drama because, I mean, most of these guys, there's only a select few that we've actually seen hold out, across any position, any guys that are unhappy with their contract. Only so many actually commit to it. So that's where I'm like, I'm just ignoring the smoke, and I'm going to trust that, I don't think Anthony Richardson, I think he's an exciting prospect, but I don't know when he's going to be starting or what he will necessarily be year one. And that's where I'm just going to trust that it's going to be in JT's hands most of the time still.
Yeah, well, JT showed up at camp today. So he's back. The problem is the 100% the problem for these running backs is not necessarily the contract. It is the fines when they hold out, because their contracts cannot be lucrative as another position. $50,000 a day is not chump change to anybody. I don't care how much you make in a week.
And when you're on a rookie contract like JT is, it's even more.
Yep. They can waive it, I believe, right?
Huh?
The fines, I believe if they're on the rookie contract, they can waive the fees.
I mean, the teams can waive them at any time, but Okay, if Irsay is going to go and get a damn whale from Florida and ship it to California and not pay JT, he ain't waiving no fine. I think he's still pissed off about Andrew Luck quitting on him or retiring. I'm sorry, he didn't quit. He retired.
Retired. That was in Italy when that was wild when that went down. But go ahead.
Yeah, I think that's probably the issue with.
Damn you, Gator.
Well, I mean, you're welcome. I think that's the issue when it comes to JT, or getting paid, and with Irsay, that's the problem. The other issue with that is that because of this collective bargain agreement, JT's got zero leverage at all.
No, they got none. The running backs, period, have none. All of them, for the most part. It's sad.
Even though he's on his rookie deal, the Colts can franchise him for the next 2 years.
Yep. And he has to accumulate the year too, right? So it's like you have to get through this season to even have this year count. Then you could still be tagged again. So
in holding out, I get it.
But at rock and a hard place.
He's still trying to get that next deal. Like if you want that Aaron Jones treatment where you get that big contract, you have to year in, year out produce. And I know JT has been a model of consistency when he's on the field, but at the same time, if he tries to sit out half this year, that's definitely going to be a detriment in his long-term, attempt to try and negotiate some bigger money. Because what if he's unhappy with his contract a couple of years from now? Whoever's trying to pay him some big bucks when that time comes, they can always use that as leverage, saying, look, are you going to be unhappy with us in a couple of years as well? I don't think JT will be like that, but, that's definitely what can be used against them in that situation.
Yeah. They got to do something. I don't know what the fix is. Is it shorter rookie deals, like 2 years maybe?
It'll never
running backs. I know they'll never get that in the CBA either.
Marius Smith as the head of the Players Association. It'll never happen.
Yeah, they're kind of just screwed.
We've got a guy in a fullback jersey over here. I mean, running backs think they have it bad. Look at fullbacks, pretty much extinct now, and they never got paid. Running backs think they have it bad, and it's like, well, shit, life could be a lot worse.
Just use check, and that's it.
Yeah, Gator stole Waddle from me. A little recap here as we go, but that's okay. I'll take my RB12 in PPR. Gibbs.
Yeah, fuck.
There's a QB.
Waddle and Smith. That's fucking nasty.
I almost went Smith. I'm going to keep Stevenson where I have. I'm not that scared of Zeke.
Hey, nobody should be scared of Zeke.
No.
The only thing you should be worried about with Ramondre is inside probably the 10. Maybe
he was bad there.
Maybe stealing a few red zone touchdowns. But Ramondre, Zeke was no good at receiving last year. That's what caused Pollard to be so valuable. Stevenson has shown that he's valuable, in the receiving game as well. That's the only thing that worries me with Zeke is maybe 5-6 times he's going to steal maybe a quick rushing touchdown this year from him. That's it.
There's Zeke. I was going to say, tell him to put down the pink weights real quick. But wait, no, that's.
But I agree for sure on that. Yeah, Stevenson was a beast everywhere, but inside the 5-yard line. So, and we'll see what Zeke even has left.
I think my next pick might be a surprise. I think it's going to be good value if he's not taken directly in front of me. I hope I don't get sniped already because, that's just going to tell me that I'm going to get sniped a lot more. Usually if it starts early, it's just a downward spiral of getting sniped almost every round. Hopefully he doesn't take
Maddie, first guy with a quarterback.
Yeah, man. These going into this year, I'm just trying to really not take chances those first 3 or 4 rounds. Then I can get cute and go for high upside guys. But the first 3 rounds, I just want to nail. I want to make sure I got a guy who's elite at every position. So to me, Mahomes, Mandrews, Chase, don't have any issues there. Locked it up. I don't have to reach for a tight end later. Don't have to worry about a quarterback. I can just, stack up on depth at running back and receiver here on out.
That's the rainbow start. You're going with the rainbow start. And
favorite start, Streets.
What's up?
I mean, how many wide receivers or wide receiver 2-3s that could be a wide receiver 1? Calvin Ridley, Keenan Allen, all these guys you can maybe get in the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th round to me. And then running back, same thing. You got Mixon, Aaron Jones, guys like that, a little bit later I pivot to, should be able to, get me at least in the playoffs. At least that's the way I feel. Then I can kind of start swinging come 5th, 6th, 7th round.
Well, Aaron Jones will not be able to help you because he'll be keeping my flex spot.
Ridley too.
He'll be keeping my flex spot nice and cozy.
Yeah, that single QB is just so different. Your players go so much faster. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yo, really, really quick, I want to just acknowledge the chat. Really appreciate you guys all being here, blowing it up. Dirty Dango, what's good, my dude? Thank you for being here. Tribal Chief, thanks for showing up. Appreciate you tonight. What is going on, my dude? Who else we got? Nick, what is up, brother? Hope you're having an excellent evening. And the First Lady, what is up, JD? Appreciate you all for being here for sure.
Yeah, Maddie.
Courtney, a rainbow start is where you start with different positions. So you have like a quarterback, a running back, a wide receiver, and a tight end, hypothetically.
And you'll see, look at the colors too on the board. So like Maddie right now has blue, orange, and red. So he has a different position kind of that goes down that list. So it kind of ties into the whole rainbow thing too.
It's kind of like a reading rainbow.
Yep.
I can go anywhere.
I used to hate. I used like late quarterback has done it for years.
Things
always been my
know,
cup of tea, but
places to go.
But this year, it's tough when you get 30 players in. It's really hard for me to justify some of these other guys over a Mahomes or an Allen or a Hurts this year.
Well, that's where you have to go and figure out if you can find the two flex positions that are going, the two flex and the one quarterback that is going to be able to equal that same, point output, right? So that's where if you're going to be looking at quarterback, late quarterback twos, early quarterback, or mid quarterback twos, and late quarterback twos, that's what you got to figure out is that those point values are 16, 17 points per game. Now I've got to make up 7 points in my two flex spots, plus hopefully gain a point every week.
Yep.
Or
hit the guy who breaks out.
I just want to mention, for the sake of the mock too, it's only one flex spot for this roster construction as well. Just a heads
look
up.
at the quarterback run now.
I agree though, Jesse.
Like it's like my mom on a Saturday night Yahtzee. Everybody's going.
Okay, but that just pushes the.
It does.
That pushes all the other value right on down the board. And guys like me are sitting here with no quarterback, and I'm going to be able to get a third wide receiver, a fourth wide receiver, fill up my flex, whatever it is, and still be able to take a high-end QB2. Because they're all you've got what, five teams right now in a single quarterback in the third round that have a quarterback.
Correct.
That's 5. There's only 7 teams left that got to get a quarterback, and most of us are going to wait.
Probably, and that's what we're gonna. Yeah, for sure, gonna wait.
Right, so we're going to be able to get those second tiers. Yeah, they're going to have elite, quarterback. But what about the Justin Fields? If he has a bad week, if Lamar Jackson does have a bad week, we're capitalizing the hell out of those weeks.
I mean, for me, I like to go 0 QB often, especially in super flex. But with that in mind, when I go 0 QB, I'm always looking at it where it's, I expect to make up for the difference of a lower tier QB with all the other positions that I usually have an advantage at. And if you hit it right on the right, sleeper or later round QB, then you can really make up for it. I mean, last year, Jared Goff and Daniel Jones were the perfect example. That was QB9, QB10, and you could get them way later when you're hitting all these other positions earlier. So then it's not really that deficit either. Then it's, I'm only 5 points less at QB, but I'm getting so many more points by each of the other positions. You're winning by a lot usually then.
I mean, folks took Geno Smith off of the waivers last year, frankly. I don't even know if he was being drafted. So, yeah.
Jared Goff?
Yeah, same.
Another one last year. Like, you can get him.
Justin Fields
was another one.
He was dropped. Remember, after 2 weeks, he only threw fucking 17 passes or something along those lines. He was waiver fucking fodder week 3. And then what did he do?
It was bad. It looked really bleak. They weren't even going to throw the football like for the first 3 weeks there. I know that fires you up. But the Phillip, I call it the Phillip Rivers build. It used to be the way I used to do it for a while, and basically it was like, and I'm not hating on Mahomes. I'm not hating on Allen and Hurts. Like, they give you an obvious point per game advantage of others, and it was a drastic difference last year than it has been in the past. But if you do wait on QB, like I might do, it's always good. If you get to round 9, 10 and you still haven't taken one yet, you can take 2 in a row too.
Yeah.
So you could pair Kirk Cousins and Anthony Richardson, and you still have a top 10 quarterback in Kirk Cousins, although you hear the name and you don't think that he is, but he's going to throw the football 650 times this year. And then you get the upside of a Richardson a little later. So I'm using 2 as an example. I don't know how this is going to turn out, but in your home league, you might be able to do something like that. But that's how you do it then, if you're going to go late 2. Or Tua. You can get Tua and Cousins and pair them together, and you get the upside of Tua and the safe floor of Cousins per se, but you can still pull it off.
I think the one downside, though, is when you get the elite guy, you set it and forget it every week.
That is true.
You guys, you start trying to play the matchups, and then you're like, oh, this looks great. You start the wrong guy. I've done it. I've killed myself multiple times. So I tend to like to get the guy for my team, whomever that is, and just, you just start him no matter what, except buys and injuries and whatnot. But you can play. I mean, I look at a lot of the FFPC drafts. I have a big one coming up in Vegas, and I see some teams waiting, and one guy ended up with Tua and Richardson, and I thought, hey, that's pretty solid considering he got them in like rounds 12 and I think 11 and 12 or 12 and 13.
Yeah.
So I mean,
it's late enough,
right? In that case, the rest of your team should be loaded.
Like I took Burrow here in the 4th, and I'm not thrilled with taking a QB this early, but at the same time, the 4th round, I feel comfortable taking someone like Burrow. He's going to be a consistent high-end production once he's back fully healthy. And, at some point I need to start addressing the other positions, but I'm also not too overly excited about the top wide receivers available. And with that in mind, it's like, all right, let's take my QB right now. Because usually I like to wait, but, Burrow as QB 6, in a 1 QB, I feel like I can hang with any of the big dogs at the QB position now.
One thing I've noticed too, it seems maybe every other year, it's wait on a quarterback. Oh, get a quarterback early. Wait on a quarterback. I think it's all just personal preference.
It could backfire. No, late QB. Look, last year was a tough year. Geno and Goff, I think, were the big 2, but it wasn't as easy to stream quarterback. Brock Purdy, I guess, too late in the season, but it just seemed like a year that it was not as easy to stream.
Or I think
you saw the drastic difference in points per games too between the top guys. It wasn't always as big a few years ago either between the number 2 and the number 6 quarterback, but it was last year.
I was going to say something to emphasize as well is just how much of there's not much of a difference between QB7 and QB18 now. There's a lot more respectable QBs. I don't want to make it sound like, we have a ton of elite arms, calling plays and throwing the ball around. But at the same time, if you look at fantasy points, you have the top couple of them. And then everyone else, like I think, I don't remember the exact, but if you look through the ranks, it's, usually 30 points on the season or something between what's like QB10 and QB17. And that's where it's like, okay, throughout a year, that might be only like 2-3 points a game. And I can easily make up for that elsewhere. But it's definitely high risk, high reward. You got to be careful as to if you're waiting on QB, just because for me, I always say if you're going to wait on a QB, go for the guy that's not necessarily the sexy guy, but the consistent guy. So someone like I love Jared Goff in that realm. The offense believes in him. The team has clearly put a lot of weapons around him. They've given him an extension. That's their guy. And with that in mind, it's like, hey, he might not put up a lot of 40-point weeks, but I feel confident that week in, week out, he should be able to get me about 20, and with that in mind, I can chip away at those other positions.
Yeah, makes sense. Yo, Gator, talk to us about Kyle Pitts. Why Kyle Pitts there?
I mean, tight end 1 this year. Everybody faded him after last year and just has basically been off the train. There's no reason we saw him set basically a tight end record which hasn't been done in since but just so I don't know why everybody faded him. Tight end is such a a fluid, vulnerable position anyway. But the option that he's going to be, or the viability that he is going to be the number 2 option in that offense is real.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Kyle Pitts could actually be the guy that overtakes Kelce quicker than anybody else.
Yep. There's 2 here. My favorite thing of Kyle Pitts is going to be it's hard to say this because it's like a ticking time bomb almost with him. We get how the offense is run there, but we also get how most young tight ends don't do much until they're 25 years old, right? And at some point, Gator's spot on. At some point, Kyle Pitts is going to be the best tight end in the NFL and the best receiving tight end probably in the NFL. That's how talented he is. They're going to throw the football more at some point too in Atlanta. Is the year now that it happens that you're kind of guessing on when it happens? And if it is, I wouldn't even be surprised if he took over Kelce at some point as the number 1 tight end in fantasy football.
We'll see if Ritter's the real deal. That's another thing. I mean, Mariota was so inconsistent last year, and if you look at Drake London's numbers down the stretch with Ritter, he was getting targeted like crazy. So there's always the potential that Ritter takes him. If he's not the guy, they'll find one sooner than later. But
Ritter doesn't even have to be that good. He's just better than Mariota.
Better than Mariota. That's all he's got to do.
And that's all it takes. And then Kyle Pitts all of a sudden is, boom, top 2 tight end. Especially in the 4th round at that point. It's well worth it.
Late 4th round. I mean, at this point, it's with it not being a tight end premium. Absolutely. I see there's just too much value there. Yeah, they got Bijan. Yes, they're going to be using, in Arthur Smith is definitely, or is it Arthur Smith? Yeah, Arthur Smith. He's definitely a run first coach. But 2 years ago, when Kyle Pitts went for 1,000 and only 1 touchdown, he could have been at that point. If 2 more touchdowns, and he would have been tight end 1 on the year.
Which is crazy when you think about it like that.
As a rookie,
what Kelce does, right?
The other thing we look at is every single one of us sit there and go, it's the 3rd year where we want to look at these tight ends. It's the 3rd year. Guess what this year is for Kyle Pitts?
So when does Kelce hit that cliff, that proverbial cliff that everybody talks about? Is it this year?
The only person that knows that answer is Tom Brady. Tom Brady and him are on some weird shit. I don't know what. I mean, they're on something together.
They got the magic supplements is what they're on.
Whatever they're doing, I mean, and at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if Mahomes has already started it. So Mahomes is probably playing until like 70. So
that is,
it's hard to discount him. He's proven year after year after year. And when you have the best quarterback in football, arguably, there's no – barring injury. I guess, he had the back issue, I know, last year in the playoffs. But other than that, I don't –
Travis Kelce has a back issue in the playoffs. Mahomes gets, like, his leg twisted, like, in 17 different directions, and they both come out there in the playoffs and win a Super Bowl.
Just dominate. And you would think, the one guy you got to take away on Kansas City, Travis Kelce. What did Jacksonville do? Leave him wide open.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter who else is who. It doesn't matter what their names are on their jerseys. Mahomes taught us that last year. It doesn't matter who he has out there. He doesn't need Tyreek Hill. He doesn't need any of the. You got an MVS. You got an AJD. You got a Juju. You got a this. Or you got an ABC, an X and Y and a Z. Let's go.
We're about to take.
You know what? That's like a perfect segue to this question then. So who's the GOAT? Who's your all GOAT? Patrick Mahomes very well could be on his way to being the GOAT. The easy answer is Tom Brady. But
it is Tom Brady still.
Can Mahomes overtake him one day?
Yes.
Well, he's on the path to do so.
Wild
does that sound?
By the way, I'm taking the 2023 tight end 1 right now.
Darren Waller.
Are we talking all-time NFL GOAT or just our own personal GOAT?
Yeah, all-time NFL GOAT.
Well,
I
think another fan. I gotta say Brady.
Yeah, as I say, I think you have to give it to Brady, and I
It's
don't
gotta be
know.
Brady.
Listen, I've got a reasoning behind this. I don't know if Patrick Mahomes can ever take him over, and this is why. Brady basically didn't take all the money he could have taken to build championships around himself, right? Whereas Patrick Mahomes has already taken a ton of money at $50 million a year. Yes, I know the salary cap goes up every year, but you've already seen him lose Tyreek Hill. You're already seeing this team is going to have to get dismantled at some point when it comes to the money, because they just won't be able to afford it. Whereas Tom Brady was like, I'll take less money so I can have a team around me. And it didn't matter what the team was then. Randy Moss here, whoever he wanted to have around him, because he took less money. And I think that's probably why he's going to be that guy. It took him It took 40 something years in order for somebody to win more championships than the last guy. And Tom Brady now has 7.
Yeah. 7's going to be it's going to be hard to beat. 7.
I know it's tough to debate with the GOAT quarterback, but from your own fandom, I'm curious, who's your GOAT of your favorite quarterback? Not even your favorite team.
Be clear, I hated Brady because he was in New England and I never had a chance.
No, but I'm just asking with you guys, from your own fandom, it doesn't need to be most championships, but who is your favorite quarterback of all time?
I got one over Brady, to be honest. I mean, if we think about Tom Brady, he's had Randy Moss, he's had all those great receivers in Tampa Bay when he got a championship. I mean, because he took those pay cuts, he had the pieces. I mean, for me, it's Brett Favre. Name the best receiver Brett Favre ever played with, man. I mean,
Sterling Sharp.
There you go. In the early 90s, you know what I mean? For that guy to have all the records that he had, I mean, granted, he has the interceptions record also. But I got to go with the gunslinger, man. That's who Mahomes modeled his game after. And, yeah, Brett Favre is the GOAT. He's an asshole, but he's the GOAT.
Hey, Jordan Love, he better start being an asshole, because that's the only way our quarterback can succeed.
It's a recap.
Yeah.
Speaking Jordan Love, perfect one here as I try to, let's see. We're in round 5 now. We talked about Pitts. I went Watson.
Yeah, you son of a bitch. That's my guy.
I know. I'm super high on Watson. Also, this year, I do think Jordan Love is going to be serviceable. So I think a big year for Watson's coming. And you said Waller as your tight end one. He liked Pitts, and I like Dallas Goedert as mine. So it's kind of funny how that all worked out. We all kind of got our guys on this one. I do think the Philly offense is going to have an uptick in volume. Last week we talked about it, right? Get up big, run out the ball second half. Defense might not be as good as it was last year in a transition year, so maybe they're in closer games in the second half. So there is a definite reason for uptick in volume there in Philly, and I think 3 pass catchers could survive there, and I love Dallas Goedert. Then Gator went with Brandon Ayuk, so I got to hear about this one when he comes back, because I know there are some Debo guys here. There's one.
Yeah, I'm a Debo guy. And you know who else I'm a guy of? I'm a fucking George Kittle guy. And Bakley cock-blocked me like a motherfucker. If I could have ran Barkley, Henry, Fields, DJ Moore, and then Kittle, are you fucking kidding me? That's my perfect start. But
now you got Tim heated, so that's the best.
Can I give you my Waller case real quick, though?
I wasn't trying to
Waller.
Yeah,
give me your Waller take. I know he's going to be the number 1 target there for New York.
Look,
Zach, tell me about Waller.
Daniel Jones produced last year with dog shit weapons. I mean, QB9 on the year, and those weapons were rough. No one's going to debate that. And the weapons are still rough, but at least they added in Waller. Waller was tight end 2 just a couple years removed. He's been consistent, and he's clearly their top option. Obviously, that's going to mean defenses are scheming about it, but there's also Saquon, and it's usually still a run-first offense. So for me, I'm looking at Waller as this guy that's just clearly going to get fed. And I was tempted to take Kittle there, but I really do love the upside of Waller in New York right now. There's a little bit more risk there because obviously he's on a new team. We haven't fully seen it, and Kittle's the safer option there. But I really do like the high-end upside of what Waller could be being their primary receiving option.
I think the biggest thing with Waller is just staying healthy. You know,
Yeah,
he's been
that's
injured a little bit
health.
the last couple of years, but if he's healthy, I mean, there's no reason why he can't excel. He could be that dark horse tight end 1, 2 in that range. I like Kittle as well, but obviously there's so many weapons in the 49ers offense.
You got
last year. I mean, he excelled when Debo was banged up, and so on. So who knows how that's
Sean, I love your draft, by the way, so far.
Thank you.
To be honest with you, I think I'm liking pick 1-8. If you're going to get Bijan to fall to you there, Keenan Allen at 4-5 is another ridiculous steal in my eyes.
I'm a Keenan guy.
Taking him way earlier at that point, and you get Herbert to go along with him in the 5th with Kellen Moore. Good.
I would have taken Keenan at 4-6 if he didn't take him.
Yeah, I would have taken Keenan. Likely, in the 4th also, if he would have been there. Man, it's tough.
You got that DJ Moore, Justin Fields stack, by the way, over there, Tim. I see you.
He's going to have that stack a lot. So,
yeah, a little early, but I'm with it, man. I'm with it.
Yeah, Keenan, man, with the final 8 weeks when he came back from injury last year in that offense, he was the guy for Herbert. So I expect the volume to be there for him again. Love Keenan Allen.
I did the opposite of what I should do. I got Keenan Allen higher in my rankings, but I'm not going to pass on the Justin Fields DJ Moore stack. I'm just going to take him like 10 picks early and just ride it,
I know you. I know how you are. I'm not that surprised. Gator Raiders, Breece Hall in the 6th. He drops all the way to the 6th. Whew.
Hello, Dalvin Cook. How are you today? Welcome to the Jets.
That's, either we're going to be all, I get it. And Dalvin Cook's going to get a decent workload in that offense. Breece Hall's still probably going to be the passing down back. Dalvin Cook never really been good at pass blocking, let alone, I think he led the league in drops 1 year too. So I don't think he's ever going to really be their pass down back. Breece Hall probably is. If he's going to fall this far, he feels like that feels actually okay coming this late now.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Like we're all going to bite ourselves in the ass.
But you say that, but if you look at what Dalvin Cook did in his career, his rookie year, in receiving, 16 of 11. Every other year, he's had more than 40 targets and right at 40 catches every other year.
I know, I know he's done it, but I know that he's also been one of the worst graded pass blockers of all the backs. He's just been a third down back. Like they haven't taken him off the field, even though he hasn't excelled in that role. And then I do also know like he did lead the league in drops out of running backs too 1 year. Like Breece Hall is just so much better than him at that facet of the game. I do wonder, like, is Dalvin Cook just going to be an early down guy there? And then just to keep the workload off, they had money, keep the workload off Breece Hall a little bit. Breece Hall still gets his catches. I
wonder if he's healthy.
That is true. It's another thing. Is Breece Hall healthy? But it's 6'3", or in the where are we at? Yeah, 6th round now.
Yeah,
man.
I also think teams are starting to, like, with the longer season, they're looking at guys that can take carries earlier in the year and make sure they're winning games. I mean, Dalvin Cook can step in and keep the Jets offense humming, but when they have the higher leverage carries and games that they need, Breece Hall will be there for them. So if anything, I love him at 6'1". For me, it feels like getting Travis Etienne at 4'4". A lot of hype for Tank Bigsby all offseason, but I'd way rather have Etienne in that offense. And same thing with the Jets. I'd much rather have Hall with his explosiveness. We'll see coming off the ACL.
Yeah.
I mean, they paid, what was it, $8.6 million? I mean, I don't know how much was guaranteed, but I mean, he's going to have a role.
I'm sure he has a role.
Oh yeah,
I'm not going to deny that.
Regardless of Hall's health, obviously they don't want to push him back from the ACL, but I think if Cook's healthy early in the season, he's going to be what do you think, 60-40 maybe?
The Jets are also in that window, right? They got Aaron Rodgers, they got Now they got Cook. They're in the window to go and win this year, maybe next year if they're lucky. So, I mean, the Breece Hall is going to be there for another 5 years, 6 years at least. I don't mind. And I'm not bashing the pick by no means. I don't mind getting Breece Hall there in the 6th. I'm just, in a redraft, it is, again, 1 year. I'm looking at it going, okay, there's going to be some depreciating value for Breece Hall with Dalvin Cook being there.
Well, then if he starts out on the pup at 6 weeks, where you got to roster this guy, you don't know what your team's going to look like in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Especially you.
I know.
Especially you.
Hey!
Wow.
Well, Maddie, look, here's the thing. Your team was not going to look the same in 6 weeks regardless of who's on it from the moment we finish a draft. So it makes no difference if wherever you draft Breece Hall.
But, Maddie's that guy. As soon as the draft's done, he's in the sleeper chat going, everybody's available.
Everyone's available.
The car salesman approach.
Hey, that's what I just did in the 6th. I mean, I got my backup quarterback.
That's nothing for that's all that is right there for you, Zach, is trade bait.
Oh, absolutely. I saw all these guys. I thought Trevor Lawrence at 6'6", I think is good value. And so for me, I'm like, okay, I think that's a good valuation there. And I'm looking at all these teams on this turn that still need a quarterback. And I'm like, let me just drop them down another tier, because I do think there's a drop off on my rankings from where Lawrence is to where Dak, Deshaun, and Tua are. So that's where, like, hey, at some point, it might not be week 1. It might not be right after the draft, but someone might be like, shit, what's really killing my team right now is the lack of quality quarterback I have. And that's where I can kind of make up what I might need at wide receiver. And I feel good about my running back situation. So that's where, don't necessarily love taking 2 QBs in a 1 quarterback league like this, or in a 1 quarterback format. But, I'm a big believer in holding the rest of the league by the balls if I can. So it's like, hey, guess what? You got to come to me if you want that upgrade at QB. I'm ready to negotiate. So step on into my office and we can figure something out.
Well, I gotta say, Gator J, you took Ayuk from me. I'm very disappointed.
You're welcome.
Question for any of you guys at the top of the draft: would you have taken Lawrence if he was there? Because I know you guys have been waiting on QB, but I'm just curious because I noticed Streets, Gator. I know it sounds like you're planning to wait for a while, but I'm just curious.
He was in my queue.
Yeah. No, that's where. Yeah. Didn't need him, but yeah, I like to take guys out of the queue if I can. I'm a good league mate like that, you gotta be a dick sometimes, and unfortunately I'm usually that guy, but that's usually
I'm not taking you to the movie theater anytime soon.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to when we do. Barbie 2 will probably be out by then, though. No, I mean, do you guys ever do that? Do you guys try it? Like, if you see
that's Tim's MO.
Yes.
Okay, because I'm in a 14-team dynasty, and our startup last year, it's a tight end premium. The tight ends kept falling because with the super flex, everyone was super aggressive with QBs, and there was 19 of them taken in the first 3 rounds. And to me, that felt a little rich on some of the names. So I just stacked up on the tight end premium where I got Andrews, Waller, and Kittle. And I took Jared Goff, Daniel Jones in later rounds. And sure enough, I said, hey, if anyone wants a tight end, I know there's only a couple good ones. You got to pay up. And what's funny is we had the flex spots to do it where I could start all 3. Ended up winning the damn thing because no one wanted to pay the price I was asking. So, I think there is value in it sometimes, but you definitely have to be smart with how your lineup is structured if you can slot them in, obviously depending on the position as well. But I'm curious if you guys do that too.
One question I have for you though, since you have Burrow as your guy,
yeah,
do you feel like you're missing a little bit of value at receiver or maybe whatever?
No.
because you're not going to be using Lawrence at any point in time. So you're basically drafting a bench spot. And if nobody wants to come,
I am drafting a bench spot, but I also didn't like the wide receivers that were there. I didn't want to take a Pittman or a Kirk. You know, I Dotson was the next on my list. I mean, but I still have other guys here in my queue. But yeah, I just didn't like that next tier of wide receiver that I was really excited about. There's other guys I'm eyeing in the next round or two, but that's where, yeah, it's definitely a risky move taking a bench slot there. But I also, if Trevor Lawrence has a few good weeks off the bat, you know, or if what if Burrow's injury lingers a little bit?
Right.
You know, I have that security, but I just I more so like to capitalize on upside when they you know, say Lawrence first 3 weeks he's QB3 on the season. You know what I mean? There's a lot of excitement, like holy shit, he could be an MVP candidate. Someone's gonna want him at that point, you know. Like there is definitely risk there, but and the price fluctuates. You know, I think it's about being realistic with your demands. You know, I always try and say going into a trade, I want both of us to feel like we're winning. And that's where obviously it's a bench player, so they can use that against me as leverage, but I can use the leverage of, hey, he's QB6 on the year, and this is the major point difference on the season from where your quarterback's at. So
obviously it only takes one team to have their guy go down, and then
exactly,
if they're a contender, they're going to be paying the price.
Yeah, and that's where it's definitely a long, slow burn, because I'm not usually the guy going into the chat right after the draft ends, because I usually expect all of us to feel good about where our teams are at based off of how we drafted. So that's where I'll usually wait a few weeks, but I also am going to trust that, you know, something like an Aaron Jones, who I think is going to be a workhorse, is going to be more dominant than some other people's flex spots. So I can make it up there. Or my running backs, and I can go 1-for-1 at tight end and QB. So then it's just, you know, trying to get that wide receiver 3 in value of, okay, can he just get me 10, 12 points? I don't need 20. I just need him to, you know, give me double digits, you know, maybe just get that touchdown. And I think when the bar is set lower there, it's a lot more realistic. But it's definitely a high risk, high reward. Yeah, I like to live dangerously with my. I always draft a trade. So that's
here's Tim.
Fishbowl
You're talking like Tim right now.
Scott Fishbowl breaks my heart every year because of that. Because I'm like, damn it, if I could just draft and start making these trades.
See, you'll find someone, I guess, that'll make that trade with you. Like, I'm in a single QB league, dynasty league, and Goff's my starter, and the one team has Mahomes and Lawrence, but I just he has no one else. Everyone else has a quarterback for the most part in that league. It seems like I won't budge. Like, I will not budge on what I give him for Lawrence. I'm giving him what Lawrence is valued. So, like, I'm not the guy you're going to come to basically in a league when you take that second quarterback in the 6th round. Like, it's fine. I'll find Geno Smith, and I'll roll Geno Smith and Kirk Cousins basically the whole year. Because you're not getting a top 30 pick for Trevor Lawrence as we get to that point.
Yeah.
But you got to find that team that'll do it.
But I'm not the one reaching out to you. Like, I wait and I let the desperation kick in.
But at the same time, I'm not trading Trevor Lawrence for Tyler Lockett. You know what I mean? Or Nuke Hopkins. Like, you're going to have to pay up into that JoeBurrow tier just to even.
Oh, and I get what you're saying. And that's where, but as a late QB guy, I'll tell you, you don't have to pay it. And you shouldn't pay that. Let him sit with 2 quarterbacks on his team till the trade deadline ends and waste that pick is what you should do then.
Yeah, but
I'm just telling you that's how you should.
There's not
unless Trevor Lawrence. I get it, but unless
that's where I say, like, I see
right?
4 of you right now without a QB, and I'm like, okay.
I see both sides. Like,
I get it. So
if Goff hits the skids, then you're going to be paying a fool's ransom for Lawrence.
Yeah, and
come week 4, you know.
Yeah, and I don't expect you got to be patient. Like, if you're drafting like I do, you can't be the aggressor. You have to let them come to you and see the value and it boosting their roster. You know what I mean? Like, because that's where if I go to Streets and he wants to do the late QB, Like he's got a set strategy. But what if Geno goes down? Or what if Geno's going back to how he used to be? You know,
That's
then
why you
he's
got to
going
take two. You have to take two when you do this. So that's why I'm telling you. Make sure you grab two between the 9th and whatever we're doing here. 9th and 12th, 13th round, you got to grab two. So if you're going my route, you grab two. Then
at least. Yeah.
Yes. Then you don't. You typically, trust me, it could happen where it backfires, and both of them end up kind of shot. But one of them should pan, and you should have enough time to where you find one on waivers that you don't have to pay the top 30 pick to get a Trevor Lawrence down.
But yeah, no, I wouldn't say I don't go top 30. It's yeah. No, I think.
Well, Matt, I'm talking to Matty now, who's saying I got to pay the Burrow price to get Lawrence, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to do that.
I'm just saying, as the Lawrence owner, after every bad game Goff has, I'm knocking on your door.
I know you. Well, he could have. It doesn't matter. You're knocking on the door. Period.
Right, but that's also knowing your leagues, because you got 7 guys that'll sit on their hands in most leagues and not
maybe
trade.
like 9 guys who will sit on their hands in most leagues, dude. You got
it's
fairly seldom. Exactly what Zach is saying. Like T-Law will fucking net him. That T-Law can net him a wide receiver 1. So I love the strategy. I love it fucking big time.
Know your league.
It's just like
really
tight end here.
But that's how it goes.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, if Evan Ingram didn't get taken by fucking Gatorators, thanks, bro. I was gonna do a 2 tight end thing. It's quarterback and tight end are very similar. Like if you don't get a tight end early, you go and pair them. Now I don't know if I want Dalton Schultz or Cole Kmet, so I might go somewhere else. But very similar positions. But what Zach did is so smart. T-Law can net you a wide receiver 1. Sure, you could wait a few weeks. I'm a pouncer though. I'm going to go and take T-Law right after the draft and try to get me a wide receiver 1 right away. Like, I'm not going to sit on T-Law. There's no reason for that. I'm going to go and sell him right now. You drafted him to sell him. I'm going to go pick. But I feel your strategy, but I also would be pouncing to get rid of him to get a wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 at worst.
And that's fine. And you're going to play. There's 2 sides to this. You're going to play in leagues where you could find someone to do that. But I'm also going to preach to you to not be the guy to do that in your league.
Desperation does funny things.
Well, it does. So that's why I'm saying it's 2-sided here. So there's people out there that if you do this tactic, you could get someone you want. Then I'm telling the other people out there that if you don't go this route, don't take that bait.
Yeah, it's I wouldn't recommend. I would recommend it at the trade deadline or close to if you felt like it was an immediate. Like if I have Geno Smith and I'm feeling like I'm a fringe team and the only way I really want to improve my roster is via QB, then I would look to maybe do that. But I'm not. I don't know. Usually for me, it's the buy low guys at the trade deadline, not buy high, unless I feel like I'm only that one position away from being the clear big dog.
Fucking Geno Smith.
Hey, at least he understands. At least he understands.
So, Zach, I'm looking at my roster right now.
Geno Smith is taking strays nonstop.
I'm looking at my roster, and I have CeeDee Lamb, DK Metcalf, and Jerry Jeudy. I don't have a quarterback right now, but let's say I'm a fringe team. I mean, I drafted all these guys so early, and they're probably going to be great producers. I just I don't see myself paying for Trevor Lawrence with a DK Metcalf or a Jerry Jeudy. I mean, I think that's like the other side that we're talking about.
But I think that's where, I'm not looking. You say that now, though, too, as well. And that's where I think it's a different thing right now, preseason, than say when you potentially get bit in the ass.
Oh, I gotta change the clock.
But I also if you don't, I'm not hitting you up. Like I know Tim was talking about being the aggressor on it, but to me, I want both of us to want each other's guy. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm not trying to come into your DMs, give you a sales pitch as to why you need the upgrade right now. I'm going to let you make the decision yourself, and then we can sit down and have.
You can tell this dude's a ladies' man. Like he's like, y'all just come to me. Like he's at the bar, girls aren't. He's not even worried about it. Like me and Tim out. Well, not anymore, but you're just asking every girl till one says yes. This guy, you know,
I want to object, but I can't.
You're buying me a drink.
Yeah.
You just
you get it.
There's definitely two sides to this, to each of this, because you should absolutely, if you could get the value, you should take a guy and then get the value and find someone who does the trade in your league. But if you're not the guy who does it, you also just don't be the guy. Someone else will do it. Someone else is going to give Zach what he wants. You just don't have to be the guy who does it.
You have to know your league first and foremost. All of my leagues are with expert. All of my 15 because I'm only mainly in dynasties now, but for the most part, all of them are content creators that know their guys. Everyone's locked in on it. But it's also a lot of teams that are super aggressive about trading, trying to make moves. So that's where I can usually do an approach like this. If
I'm in an auction,
and
he ended up, he saved too much money. So let's see. I got to make a pick, and then hold on, I'll tell you the story as
I'm liking the story so far.
Here we go. Siri telling me a story.
Why did you start talking? Shut up,
bitch. but I also, for example, the emphasis on that pick was Trevor Lawrence. If it was only Dak Prescott, Deshaun, or Tua there at that slot, I wouldn't have done it. It's purely me thinking Trevor's taking another step into potentially a top 5 QB range, and that's where there's going to be a lot more benefit for someone else. Or say I want to sell Burrow, and I'm like, hey, I feel good with riding with Lawrence. I can sell, I can pick which one, whoever has interest in which one at that point. But it's definitely about getting your guys. You know what I mean? Like I alluded to when I took Lawrence, I thought it was a good value there. I didn't need it, but I felt like 4,606 in a 12-man. I thought he should have been taken already.
Well, I think maybe it's just me, but the Chargers and the Jags, I see those offenses ascending big time this year.
Yes.
Their passing games are obviously they got to stay healthy and whatnot, but they should be elite, and you have two of the young elite quarterbacks. So, I mean, obviously, like you said, you could make a trade. You can trade Burrow. You probably would get more for Burrow.
Yeah.
And you're just fine.
That's probably the way to go.
Rolling with offense.
Yeah.
You're not losing much there on a weekly basis.
And that's why I like to sit back, because then you can come to me about which QB you want. If you want Burrow, let's talk business. You want Lawrence, let's talk business. But I'm not going to push for, you wanted Lawrence, but here, let me give you a reason why you should actually take Burrow instead and pay more. Like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to let you make that decision. It's a lot easier. I don't know. Now we're getting back into what I was saying earlier, Mr. Cowboy fan down there. So we don't need to get into all that.
But yeah, so what I was saying before I had to do that, in an auction, a guy probably saved a little too much and then ended up with Mahomes and Burrow on his team last year in an auction. His goal was to do the exact same thing, but he ended the season with Mahomes and Burrow because no one would pay what he was asking for Burrow at the trade deadline. And he waited too long and then regretted. He said it himself. He's like, I should have just taken what I could, but it just seemed like I was losing a trade to get rid of Burrow. And I was like, good. I'm kind of glad you did. That's what I told. But it happened, and he ended up getting stuck with both of those quarterbacks then on his team, and he can only start one.
You gotta.
So you gotta know what
you're doing. You got, yeah. Like I wouldn't wait that long unless I felt like there was a deal coming here soon. I
usually find someone to do it.
Yeah, I'm usually putting out feelers. If it's week 6 and no one's coming out and hit me up, I'm going to start, slowly just trying to see where everyone's head is at. But yeah, you really got to know your league, because if you're in a home league with dudes that aren't really aggressive about trading, or they're just wanting to be patient, play the waiver wire, absolutely don't be aggressive in that regard, because then you're just biting yourself in the ass. But it's definitely you got to be patient, but you got to know when to pull the trigger. There's a fine line between the two. I usually like to build up. I like that slow build between like week 4 and the trade deadline, where the desperation is kind of kicking in. They're like, shit, like I think I need to do something, and they're not certain, and then they'll usually pull the trigger. But if no one's planting the seeds if no one's reaching out by week 4, I would say I'm usually like, oh shit, it's time to be the aggressor. But I don't know. I haven't ever really experienced that. I don't know. Just know your league. That's all I'll say. Yeah.
I love the Viking stack, Streets. The major Viking stack.
So I did one part of this for Tim because Tim is trying to create something. If you listen to the wide receiver show, I'm laughing as I say it, but Tim has a motto that he likes to do. What is that, Tim? Explain it.
Go, Russ, go. I'm all about the Broncos.
No. What is your wide receiver handcuff?
Oh my God, I love the wide receiver handcuff, dude. So if you take, all right, so listen, theoretically speaking, if you are taking
I'm laughing. I'm sorry. Hold on. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, hang on. Streets, scroll the board so you can see it on the live stream.
Oh, I gotta switch. Hold on.
There you go.
Fuck, I'll take Deshaun Watson here. Fucking why not? Trade bait. What he could be gold. You never know. Anyway, so your wide receiver handcuffs. You take a guy like Justin Jefferson in the first round. You take a guy like Cooper or Jamar Chase in the first round. Why not later on be sure to fucking get a guy, Keenan Allen. Go ahead and get a guy like Jordan Addison if you got a Justin Jefferson. Go and get a Quentin Johnston if you have a Keenan Allen. That way, if these guys get hurt, you're fucking backed up. You're taking Justin Jefferson 1.1. All right. And not to mention, Jordan Addison at some point is going to have good production this season. So I personally, if I'm spending a first-round pick on a high-end wide receiver like that, like 1.1, I'm going to try to cuff him. So that is my little wide receiver strategy. Streets.
How many times between the time Streets ended his question to the time you started speaking did you go back and watch the intro? I just
like 4, maybe 4 or 5. Yeah, it always fires me up, baby. It fires me up. It's a fucking great intro, man. Yeah,
he's been pounding that. It's a weird way to do this, but
Streets, Tim, Streets.
Yeah.
You said weird, and I think it's
weird is
weird.
Our motto, so that's kind of how that goes. But but he makes sense. You know, you can get them so far apart that I guess it's not that bad. And it brings me back to the years where was it like Brandon Marshall and Eric Decker, where I had them both one season and it worked out. Probably the riskiest thing you would possibly do by doing that, but you kind of get spike weeks maybe.
Well, I think
out of each one, right? So you'd get the guy who gets the safer floor in the spike week, and then if it's like you could have went easily last year and had Brown and Smith and been fine.
Yeah, I think a lot of the times though, if you're looking at that philosophy, you have to look at who the quarterback is, right?
That is true.
Can they support 2 top 16 wide receivers? Right. And okay, yes, Kirk Cousins we know can. Yes, we know JoeBurrow can. We know Tua has, but there are teams out there that they have a great quarterback, but they just don't support 2 top end wide receivers, 2 top 15 wide receivers. And if you have to pick and choose when you're doing that, right, Tim?
Yep.
That is true.
Oh yeah.
He's not on everybody for that.
I'm talking about right, but you got a Vikings offense that's going to throw the ball 900 fucking times this year. You got JoeBurrow who's going to throw the ball a ton. You got Justin Herbert who's going to throw the ball a ton.
Right.
So,
okay. Prime example. The question that is, we know for a fact that Josh Allen is going to throw the ball a ton. Right. And we know Stephon Diggs is the number 1. Who the fuck is the number 2?
I love Gabe going into last
year.
You
may love Gabe Davis, but he's only getting 2 targets a fucking game on average. That's what I'm getting at is so that's what I'm saying. You gotta You know, you can sit there and say, yes, great quarterback, but will he support?
Yeah.
I don't know that Buffalo can.
Right.
No.
It's tough. Josh Allen's not a one I rely on for that model.
Right.
Well, Gabe Davis would take, I think, this Stephon Diggs injury to probably catapult. If that even works.
Oh no. No, I didn't need to do that. I didn't realize you changed the time. Damn it.
I put a note.
You put a note?
I put a note in the chat.
Go in the chat.
It's okay. You want me to? I could redo it. I don't really care.
I don't care.
It's a mock.
It's a mock. I don't care. I'll take
it. This is real life. What are you guys talking about? Come on.
No, we were turning this into a league.
We could turn these into best ball leagues, to be honest. It does. I just don't want to set lineups in these all year season long.
Thank God you didn't pick again. It would had me on auto pick there for a second.
Streets, I love your quarterback value though. Cousins and Dimes back to back there. I mean, that's great. Tua right before for Gator. Yeah, I mean, not bad at all.
I like DJ at 10-12 a lot.
I like Tua too. I really love. Oh man, hold on. I forgot that it's a minute. Now I'm about to.
Oh, now
same thing he was about to do.
There's a note in the chat, Streets, just so you know.
Streets, evidently.
Let's. So,
yeah, that auto screwed me up because Dimes was my pick, so I just will go right here and get Jared Goff and be happy with that.
Yeah, I don't. Either one works. I think right there too. I think that's the perfect, or even the Bruss bounce back. You can gamble after your second quarterback.
I want to see it.
It is one of those. I know Tim. Tim is a Bronco guy. I should have downloaded the video.
Ride it, baby.
But he's falling for that trap again down there at Russ and the Broncos. But yeah, I mean, it's all there for him. So whether it's Goff, Jones, or Russ, I think all those guys that at this turn 10, 11th round for your second quarterback is how you do late round quarterback.
This feels gross having like Russ Wilson on your team and
it's not sexy.
Jordan Love, Stafford. You're just like you just feel pretty fucking rough after.
Well, I mean, you just need your little Trey Lance, and you will feel fine.
Yeah,
I've got Russell Wilson on the block. Let's go.
Like it's when the draft's over with, you're gonna look at it and go, "Oh, Russ," and like you could say,
I got a Tyler Algier trade offer for Russ. Sweet.
Yeah, that's two. Hey, that's 2 picks of value right there.
Yeah. See, so it might not be the sexiest pick on planet Earth, but you know what? Some of them are still useful.
Streets, you're loading up on rookies. It looks like with your pick, you've got what 3 or 4 rookie guys here. Maybe just hoping for a little lightning in a bottle.
Well, Gibbs is a top 12 running back for me, regardless. So I'll gladly take him there. That's one rookie. 100 carries, 60 targets is the floor, and that finish is pretty wild.
Stop with that. Stop with the targets. He played like freaking 30 snaps and didn't play a single snap out of the slot like they said they were going to. Stop with him getting all them.
Oh, I can't. I'm not going to get the preseason. They're not going to really do much for me.
With him getting
move the needle. He's an elite pass catcher. They're going to use him in the regular season.
But he's not going to play the slot.
He doesn't have to play the slot to even get 70 targets in that offense. Better than Montgomery at the job.
Hey.
And
Watch it.
Hey, look, as a Bears fan, I love DeMont. He probably got screwed here a little bit too much. Played on behind some really bad offensive lines, some really bad offenses in general, but Gibbs is just a better pass catching back than him. So I fully expect 60 targets, 100 carries as the floor for him this season. And if he gets that, yes, in PPR, he's going to be a top 12 running back if he stays healthy.
So you're giving people bad advice. Montgomery's the starter. You're taking the backup in round 2.
I mean, Bijan's the 3rd string running back on the depth chart right now. So we just took him at 1-8.
Yeah,
hey, I'm optimistic here. I'm looking for upside in the first round.
That's why I get what happened in the preseason. I just have a hard time really buying anything that happens in the preseason.
That's the exact response I wanted, because all the hype beforehand was like, he's going to play on the slot. He's going to play on the slot. Not only did he not play on the slot, it's like, oh god, really doing this?
Twitter erupted that he did not play in the slot either. Mm-hmm. I saw that. So, the minute he was off the field, it was like, oh my god, he did not take a slot snap.
It was insane. The overreaction on, because football is back, I guess.
It is. What else do we have to go with? I mean, people.
I took my wide receiver handcuff in case anybody cared.
Oh no, that's not the one you really want to talk about, I think.
No, I'm just fucking kidding. Well, yeah, he's swole.
You cannot take anything that happens in week 1, or I mean, maybe week 2 you can now, because it used to be 4 weeks of preseason, but week 1 and week 2 was just all about figuring out who in the hell was going to be rostered between 46 and 53, right?
Yep.
And that's all it was. And so you saw all kinds of people that you didn't even know they played college football, let alone that they knew what inside the lines was. Right? I mean, you didn't know these guys' names from nothing, and now you're sitting them on an NFL field, and now we're sitting there from one extreme to the exact opposite extreme. As soon as a coach speaks something, it's existence. And fantasy players live by it.
Yep.
So one thing I wanted to ask about, I know in the last several years, running backs that have been picked in the top 15 have historically finished like top 12 in fantasy football, save Melvin Gordon. I think McCaffrey, Fournette, etc., all in their rookie year. How many of those guys actually had someone like a David Montgomery, just kind of entering their prime with them in the backfield? Does anybody know offhand?
Offhand, no.
Great question.
Good question, because I know that it does probably throw a little curveball into the whole.
Well, you think about it. CMC went to Carolina. Who was there? Nobody.
What was the question again?
Did they still have Jonathan Stewart, or was he gone at that point?
I think Stewart. What was it? Thunder and Lightning both were gone at that point, right?
I know D'Angelo
Williams was gone. Oh yeah, because it was Pittsburgh. I don't know who is. I don't think any.
That's a good trivia question. Great question.
Wait, I'll look it up after this, but I'm not going to find an answer now. But good question. I don't know if it really shakes me too much on him, though. But
I would say none, because that's why they're taking the running back at that point. I mean, to be honest, I mean, if you the closest one, and I know this is going to sound crazy because it's recency bias or whatever, but Tyler Algiers going over 1,000 last year, and then turning right around in Atlanta, taking a top 7 running back.
Yeah, that's who Tyler Algier, by the way. They run the ball so damn much, could even be a flex play for you, even with Bijan. It's crazy as that damn sounds.
Don't say that. Don't lie to people.
I'm not.
Tyler Algiers is going to have a role this year. I promise you.
Look, if both him and Patterson had weeks last year, I have no doubt there's going to be weeks out there that Bijan and Algier have weeks too. You're taking him.
Weren't you just hating on Algier like 2 weeks ago?
Oh, I am, and I'm still saying you're not drafting him for that spot. You're putting him on your bench when you're drafting him, though. So I'm in a bind. It's probably not the worst option.
It's a great best ball grab, though.
Probably, yeah. That makes sense because you don't have to pick the starts where it's going to happen. But
scroll down, Streets.
Scroll down. We can't see it.
Oh yeah.
Thanks, Courtney. Appreciate you.
I think one thing that needs to be emphasized across all of our strategies with like the late round guys, if you're leaving a position for later, you really have to go for the high risk, high reward guys at that position of need, because at that point you're not really getting this consistent producer that's going to be this steady producer week after week, and you have to go for something that could potentially pay off more. So I don't love some of these wide receivers I'm taking, but I see opportunities for where I'm taking them to be able to outproduce that and potentially have this really high ceiling.
Low floor, so you took Bateman and Beckham. Are you just banking on getting the one out of the bunch?
I don't know which one. I'm curious about either, but it's like, hey, I'll fuck around and find out. Like I feel good enough about the other positions where it's like, hey, just need one of you to get a couple receptions in this PPR, maybe like 3 for 55. Just give me 10 points. I don't need it to be pretty. Like I really don't. Yeah. I'm not looking at these guys like, all right, sweet, 10 touchdowns, 100 receptions, 1,000 yards. It's like, all right, just give me double-digit fantasy.
You guys are taking defenses. Good God.
Who's taking defenses?
You have defense
out there.
Bakley. Because you put defense on there, Streets.
I know.
It's your fault.
They should be on there because the Kinko's League's probably going to have it on there. But
fucking
But no, I'm looking at a lot like Gabe Davis. I'm not necessarily the highest on him, but maybe Josh Allen could feed a second round. I'm not the highest on it, but for being in need of a wide receiver, that's a name I like. But there's a lot of risk. Like my overall strategy here, there's a lot of risk. That especially these wide receivers, it's I could be in a really great spot or I could be down bad. But at the same time, like I said, I feel my running backs, my flex, my tight end, my QB, I feel great there. And I know sometimes wide receivers, they play that stout defense that week, and even the big names only get, 3 receptions for however many yards. So that's where, hey, I don't love my wide receiver room whatsoever, but I'm going to use my next 3 rounds on wide receivers as well, because that's all I really need at this point, other than a defense and a kicker. I have my backup tight end with Kincaid. I have 4 running backs with the RB4 being Swift. I have Lawrence as my QB2. I feel like I can be interchangeable a lot of the other spots, and I know that wide receiver is especially with a relatively small bench, if it's a redraft, I feel like I could probably get a guy on the waiver wire that is clearly getting more of a role if none of my guys are that.
My knock on your strategy would just be that it's a 3 wide receiver format, so I definitely wouldn't want to leave receiver to Gabe Davis as my wide receiver 1. But I get your logic in general. I think with the format, it's rough to leave receivers that late.
But I look at a lot of the running backs I'm going against. Like when I have Eckler, JT, and Jones I view that as 20 plus every week from all 3. I feel like I'm not asking a lot. I just need them to not be a complete irrelevant. But yeah, I definitely hear you there. I mean, and I have a few approaches, but I'm definitely usually the guy that leaves the QBs for late. But that's also where, if someone were aggressive, hit me up right after the draft trying to make a trade, I'm ready to talk business right now as well. There's never a wrong time. It's just about when they want to come to me.
Streets with the homer pick there, huh?
I like Tank Bigsby there. I like Tank at 12-10.
Oh, you talk about Roshan?
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, that's a homer pick for sure. Roshan is a home.
Look, every team in the division now, you had to have.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I'm sure everybody saw the Khalil Herbert highlight, right? But what they also didn't see is Khalil Herbert almost also got Justin Fields killed again at the same time on that, right?
That's going to keep him off the field more than it is on.
Yep. So the thing about Floozy is great as Herbert could be with the football in his hands. Like he's so bad. Like you're not going to see him really out there on passing downs, period, because of that. Like it's preseason. They're trying to get him to work on it a little bit. But then again, he almost got Fields killed. He got lucky that he didn't get Fields killed again out there. So Roshan is a guy who's probably the best on that team in pass protection. It's going to get him on the field in those roles, and I think there's enough to where maybe he could start taking some early down work as the season progresses there a little bit. We've as a Bears fan, Tim and I have preached it from day one. Even last year, we told you Herbert's just never been a floozy guy. If you know Eberflus and his philosophy and how he likes things done, like he's a get dirty, hit somebody when you're out there type of guy. Herbert's not that back. He's doesn't like contact. It's just not his forte. And there's a reason why they went and got Foreman and brought him in. There's a reason Roshan's going to see some work in there. To me, Roshan is the guy I think at the end of the season that has a shot to come out on top.
Yeah,
Herbert, the change of pace guy.
I think Foreman will get a lot of work. People are kind of sleeping on him.
He might, and I think him and you're right.
That's my guy in that offense. Yep,
he likes Foreman because he's a floozy type of guy. He's just Floozy's very coachy. Like, get out there and hit someone. Is it a pass blocking scenario? No, who cares? Go hit someone. Hit someone on the sideline. Just go hit. Just find someone to hit. And that's not Herbert. And I think that's what they just didn't like about him.
Yeah.
And it sounds crazy to say that. I know everybody is out there like, well, look at Herbert when he touches the foot. I get it. It's just, you know how the NFL head coaches aren't here to help you win a fantasy league. They're just not.
What do you think about, from the preseason game, they talked about the air yards with Fields. He had the DJ Moore and the Herbert, but they're like, oh, the air yards, What is your honest take about Fields? I mean, where do you see him as a passer this year?
You want to know what I saw? I saw his actual weapons help him finally on the field. Something he had nothing of last year. Zero of that. Like, now a play could fold and he could just ditch it to DJ Moore, and DJ Moore can make a play out of nothing. I think that's what we see more of this year.
Or
right?
That's where his rushing comes in, right?
Yep. Or there you go. So it just helps to have things out there. I don't care the air yards in that preseason. All it showed was he has better options out there now. And that's what we're looking for there. Because last year he had nothing. Absolute. He had me out there at wide receiver for him. That's why I didn't trust. It couldn't even see me. That's why I didn't throw it to him.
Yeah,
it was brutal. Watching them weekly last year was tough. But hey, week one, the bad St. Brown brother could block, right? That's what he did.
Great fucking blocker, Streets.
He's a great
fucking blocker.
So I need you to explain to me how that works, because it's been a while since I've had to worry about on Sundays sitting down at 1:00, or probably going to be more 1:00 this year, watching a Bucks game and just going into the game, this is not going to be a good day. This is not going to be a good day. Ice Cube is not coming to help me out today.
It's I don't know. I'm used to it. So here's why. I'm used to my teams being horrible. I mean, I'm a Bears, White Sox, Orlando Magic fan. So, turning on the game and just being miserable is what I do best.
That's just having a bad day. Just turn on an Orlando Magic game and it'll get worse.
This sounds like this is like your therapy session. What the fuck are you gonna do this year when you're winning on Sundays?
I know, no, it's weird. I don't know what to do with it. I'm
not fucking picking a fucking defense or a kicker, Streets. I'm just not gonna pick.
That's fine.
I refuse.
You stream those
you stream them. That's why we're on the last two at this point.
I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. I'll take Harrison Butker to make this a thing.
But yeah, we do have some people on, and then JD does have to come on. So I want everybody to give their chance to say. We'll go down the list. I'll start with Maddie, who's on the bottom. So Maddie, you want to say goodbye? Tell these people where to find you, where to everything. Go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been doing content on and off for about 3-4 years. Love football, love wrestling, all that jazz. Love Dynasty, love trades. I'll be on Monday nights with the Roto Slappers, little halftime heat, doing some shows. You can also find me doing a lot of shorts. I love talking trade value, dynasty profiles, really get in, get out, Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. So I like
you
talking trade value, buy or sell a guy, player rank,
that's
kind of his outcome. Get in there, get out. If you need anything, at Matty Daddy FF on Twitter. Guys, definitely pumped to get to meet everybody. I've been kind of out of the Twitter space this summer, just been grinding. Plus, I got 3 kids, so you know how life is. But, yeah, any fantasy football questions, content, anybody needs help or just needs another opinion, definitely here for it. But thanks, guys, for having me. It was a blast.
Thank you. I love you, Matty.
Hey, I love you too, man.
Best, Matty. Thanks.
We'll go. Keep going in line. So, Sean, it's all you, buddy.
Kiki, do you love me? Never mind.
That's what I heard too, Matty. That's what I heard too.
You might not do content yet, but you can tell them where to find you on Twitter. The whole
my Twitter handle is the green one. I don't do any content. You know, I met Streets in the Pick 3 chat for SFB.
That's what I love about SFB, by the way.
Right. You know, Scott Fish is all about bringing people together, and we got connected that way. We both like terrible teams. You know, we're both White Sox, Orlando Magic, and Michigan Wolverines, who, you know, always disappoint. But we just connected, and here we are. You know, I'm happy to be here. This is my first time on the stream, on the show, and being a part of this group. It seems like a lot of fun. I've enjoyed my time, and hope you'll have me back. I'd love to come back. That was great. This was great. So I'm always around. Love talking sports.
Hell yeah.
So I'll be back.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sure.
My man, Gator.
Man, you can find me on Twitter at FantasyJ77. And I'm always running some sort of mock. Somewhere, somehow, I'm always doing mocks with Fantasy and Frames. Doing a lot of the, you know, building the shows, building the shorts. Maddie, I need to get with you on what you're doing, and that way we can maybe we can do like a collab or something. Little Matty Daddy Gator collab. You know, we get some Dallas. I mean, we got
be awesome.
in common.
Always,
right?
man.
I mean, Malik Davis in common right now. You know, running back over there comes from Florida. So I mean, you know, hey, you know, we could collab a little bit.
I'm looking and I'm a liking.
That's what I'm saying. No, I mean you can pretty much that's where you'll find me is over there at Fantasy and Frames and on Twitter at FantasyJ77.
A lot of great people at Fantasy and Frames.
They do awesome stuff at Fantasy.
I enjoy it. I connected, you know, Stephanie Miller. She's in our Pick 3 chat, SFB, and
best ball queen, baby.
Oh yeah, she lives that. So
everyone on Fantasy and Frames is great. So make sure you go.
Oh, and the content
over there.
Coming is just going to be phenomenal. We're going to have like 4 shows going Wednesday night from 7 o'clock to 11 o'clock every night. It's just going to be show after show after show after show, everything that we're doing. So it's going to
love it.
Yes.
Make sure you also, like we just said, Fantasy and Frames, get over there.
30 seconds on the clock here. I mean, these are important picks here, these last 2 rounds.
I know. That's not me.
Yes.
Here goes the kicker and defense.
I'll make a pick. It's all right. Gator Raiders, baby. Why don't you tell them about you before I just screw this pick up because I'm about to get auto pick.
We'll see. I appreciate Gator doing that. I met everyone through Fantasy and Frames. I've been looking to get into content for a long time, but haven't quite made the jump. But what I am is a professional draft timekeeper. I'll let you know on the mocks if you're running out of time. I'm always the dude adding somebody, and I'm also the pro draft filler. So, like, if we have 2 spots tonight, we had a spot. I hit up my homie to hop in at the 11th spot and make sure we were full. So that's my thing, man. If y'all are running mocks, let me know. I love doing that. And rather than shout out any Twitter or anything, I want to shout out one of my favorite hardworking running backs to ever do it, Alex Collins. Rest in peace, man. That was a shock to hear about that. I mean, that dude ran hard, and then obviously the Irish dance in the end zone. So
that sucks.
Shout out to a real one. That's crazy. Thanks for having me on, y'all.
No, tell us where everybody can follow you on Twitter. Seriously, because you and I met through the Scott Fishbowl mocks that I was setting up.
Yeah.
And actually now you are in 2 of my leagues now.
Yeah.
Oh,
and I'm loving it, man. I'm loving it. Yeah. I'm like, I've been the Gatorators for like 3 years, and now I'm like trying to aid Gator. So
he's invading my space over here.
My Twitter is at Willie with an IEZEE 31. Unfortunately, it might be a lot of politics stuff because that's what I do for work. We won't get into that right now, but yeah, man, I really appreciate all that stuff. Thanks for having me on, y'all.
You were awesome. Thank you, Gator Raiders. Yeah, that's how I knew him. When Tim was like, yeah, Gator Raiders is also, I was like, oh man, I mocked with him probably 75 times, I think, throughout Scott Fishbowl. I was like, I know exactly who that is. I was like, oh yeah.
That's why I sent him the link. That's why I asked if he wanted to get down, because I was like, I've seen your name 600 times. I'm now in a league with you.
Okay, Courtney, I don't mean this to sound disrespectful, but absolutely, yes, eat Gator. Eat Gator, and you can eat Gator tail. It is absolutely phenomenal if it's cooked correctly.
I've had Gator. It's actually pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I've had even in Chicago, I've had Gator. Look at that, and it was good. So I will agree to that.
Yeah,
I had Gator tenders.
Yes, that's Gator tail. Gator tail. That's so it's looks like chicken tenders, but it's actually a very moist and soft meat, and it's chewy.
It was good. I was actually impressed.
No, it doesn't taste like chicken, Courtney.
It tastes like chicken. Zach, let it rip, buddy.
Thanks for having me. Good to see you guys. We got to get together again in person sometime. I mean, I know I met both you boys at the Scott Fishbowl live draft out here in Chicago this year, and in our drunken stupor, having some good fantasy talks.
That was fun.
That was
a good time at that draft.
Oh yeah, no, that was a great time. No, thanks for having me. You can find me on Going for Two. I host the Sunday morning pregame show. Otherwise, you can find me on Twitter at Behind the Zach.
Awesome.
Oh, and also, where's the post game?
That last pick.
Where's the post draft party at? Why does it have to come to an end?
Well, we're gonna end it, and I'm not going anywhere. I'll hang out and have one with you. So, yeah, we're just going up because we have our first lady JD going live over on Twitch, 10:15 Central, 11:15 Eastern. So right after you are done here, swing on over to the Twitch for the first lady. And I personally want to thank you all. Like, Streets, you fucking, first of all, put all this together. Fantastic job. That video, I'm still thinking about that video. Gator, I'm about to fucking pop again, so I'm gonna keep it calm. Keep it calm, right?
Do it.
I'm gonna keep it no. I'm gonna keep it calm. I'm gonna keep it calm, right?
Listen,
I want to thank all of you. Seriously, this has been a fucking blast tonight. Zach, it was awesome meeting you, as you said. You coming on, having a blast tonight. Can't wait to do it again. Gator Raiders, my dude. We'll definitely be doing this again. Gator, love everything you do with Fantasy and Frames. But, bro, again, thank you for everything you did within this community. I would not know Gator Raiders 110%. Would not know you, obviously. Fucking Sean, obviously, is a huge part of it. Like, thank you. Zach knows you. Thank you. Just thank you for everything that you do, man. Check out Fantasy and Frames. Check out everything that Gator does. Sean, it's an absolute pleasure getting down with you tonight, fellow Sox fan. Cannot wait to chop it up with you again. We are definitely going to get down another time. And my guy, Maddie, Daddy. Oh, there's all right. I got pumped up. Love me some Maddie, Daddy. The chat. Thank the chat so very much. You guys fucking popped all night. And again, like this video, please, if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to this channel. Sports, wrestling, entertainment. That's what we do. We're on audio. Go check it out. And we got the website, bloodlinenetwork.com, where you can also get on our merch. We're sponsored by Dubby. Get on Dubby. Fucking promo code Bloodline ENT1. So that's it, Streets. That's all I got. Thank you again. And to all you guys again, thank you again.
Yep. Timmy, TK. Here with me every Monday now as we go through this. So once again, thank you. Zach, thank you also. It was a pleasure. We got to get together soon. We only live 6 minutes apart, and Tim doesn't live too far from us either. So we're going to have to do something soon. Gator Raiders, it was a pleasure to meet you. Finally. Now I have a face, and I don't have to look at the dinosaurs thing. Like that, although that's great. And I'm still always going to picture the dinosaur dad. right?
For sure.
With the hard hat on, and that's just
Not the mama.
the dad, and that's how I'm going to picture Gator Raiders. And Gator, you are the best, my man.
Well, just do me a favor.
Pleasure to meet you through. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say you, Tim, and Zach go meet up. Cool, whatever. Just don't do it at a movie theater.
No, we're not doing anything. I'm not meeting Zach at a movie theater ever.
They're not.
I love you, Zach. I'm kidding. Sean, you that's it. You did it. You officially came on a stream, right? This is the first time ever?
First time ever. First time.
See? That's awesome, right?
Fun.
See? You had a good
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I am
Thank you.
super impressed that you did that.
Just a natural, dude.
I know.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Good stuff. Maddie, I love you. You know that already.
I appreciate
I'm gonna talk
that.
to you tonight again. I'll talk to you tomorrow again. So obviously I love you. And yeah, Monday nights are gonna be super, super fun, as always. And we did this because what I enjoy most is everyone's gonna have different takes. They're going to like different. We might have the same top 30. It might be a different order. After you get past pick 50, we're all going to have different guys that we like. So I like hearing everyone come together and tell what they like about somebody, what they don't like about somebody. We debated the second quarterback thing for a while. Some want to do it. Some are going to do this to trade, blah, 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 whatever it is, right? Everyone comes from different ends of the spectrum. So I kind of like when we all come together and we get to share that stuff. So I appreciate everyone for tuning in to this one tonight. We will see you next Monday again. Make sure you stick around for JD. And we will see you guys next week. Peace.